Hi, everybody. What's going on? Jeff Rieger, another episode of The Daily Ticket. It's for the 13th. It's a Thursday. It's 2024. And we're still waiting. Still waiting to see the future of The Daily Ticket. Are we going to be canceled? Are we going to be able to survive? I think tomorrow's a big day. We got a big meeting. So I'll let you know if The Daily Ticket goes back to 5 days a week or if we wither up and die. One of the two things are going to happen. Kind of in life, I guess, same thing as the Daily Ticket future, right? It was interesting. I actually golfed the other day. I think this was a Monday. And I don't know, this guy, like he's probably in his 20s. He held the door open for me and the guy I was golfing with. And when I walked by, I said, thank you so much. And he said, dude, love the podcast. And I'm like, you're talking about my podcast? He's like, yeah, the Daily Ticket, big fan. He's like, I hope you continue it. I'm like, wow, thank you. So maybe that was an omen. Maybe the Daily Ticket rolls on. Like I said the last episode, I think it was Monday's episode. I hope we continue it simply because doing this during football season is fun. When it's not football season, at times it can be kind of a grind, but what are you going to do? But we got a good one today. We have a good one today, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't know what I was going to talk about today. I thought hey, we could talk about do you trade Scooble? And I have strong feelings, but I want to wait a little bit for that podcast. I was thinking about are they really going to trade Jack Flaherty if they're in the running? Talking about the Tigers because there's reports out there already that Scott Harris is taking offers, taking calls on Jack Flaherty, which makes sense if they fall out of it. But at the time of this podcast, we're 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. So I think the Tigers fan base would be pretty pissed if they sell when you got a chance to make the postseason for the first time in a decade, right? But that's the podcast I think we'll get to as well if the Daily Ticket does survive. Remember, we're doing 2 a week. And then if we come back, we'll go back to 5 a week. But then I was scrolling through social media and I came upon what I think is a great interview from the Toledo Mud Hens page. Now, you should check this out yourself, but I'm going to play you the interview. So Jordan Stack, who works with the Mud Hens and does a lot of stuff with Toledo, he interviewed Tork. And I know Tork has spoken since getting sent down, but this is his first in-depth interview about what went wrong, how the conversation went when he got sent down, what exactly is the deal with him right now, and how does it feel now compared to when he was struggling in the big leagues a couple weeks ago. So I thought this was worth a play. And again, I urge you to go check it out yourself. It's on the Toledo Mud Hens Twitter page. But before we get into the interview, I think we need to bring up what he's doing in AAA. And dude is killing the baseball. Now, it's only 7 games, 27 at-bats. Still, 333 batting average, an OPS of over 1,000, already 3 doubles and 1 homer. It's pretty good, right? But it's not just him. Like Parker Meadows, remember he got sent down as well, got sent down earlier than Tork did. Parker Meadows is killing the baseball as well. 287 average, 915 OPS, 6 homers, 5 doubles, 2 triples. Pretty good. And then I hope the Tigers call up Jace Young because the Tigers need a third baseman, and Jace Young is killing the baseball. He's got nothing else to prove at AAA. 935 OPS, 285 average, 11 homers, 17 doubles, and a triple. So the Mud Hens have some players that are hitting the cover off the baseball, which is great. But we're focused on Tork. I think we all ask ourselves the question. We ask our friends, is Tork a bust? Is he really going to live up to being a 1-1 in the Major League Baseball draft? I think that's the big question. So I wanted to play this interview for you. I'm going to stop it at times to comment myself, but I think it's really in-depth. I think it's really well done. And I think Tork is on the right track by his answers. If I'm allowed to judge the guy by the answers he gives in an interview instead of the at-bats he has at the Major League level, I think you'll come away impressed. Take a listen. This is Jordan Strack with Tork.
Everybody understands this is not the way you envision this season starting. Walk me back to the conversation the other day, though, with AJ and the Tigers about coming down here. How tough of the conversation was that?
Yeah, it's never a fun conversation to have. I've had the conversation before. It hurts. It's a little embarrassing. But I think the conversation pretty much went like, this is a move we're going to make, and, we want you to, grow and get the at-bats and, find, pretty much your swing again. And then, we want you on this team, but, obviously right now you're not contributing to it. So, yeah, it definitely hurts, but, I think it was a good conversation, and I'm in a good spot.
So he says he's in a good spot. I like the details of the conversation. AJ said, we want you on this team, but right now you're not contributing. And I said this for a while, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but when everybody was yelling from the mountaintops that Tork is not going to get fixed in the minors, I was saying, guys, you got to send him down simply because he's fried up here. He really is. Whether it's mental, whether it's mechanical, Tork could not get the job done at the major league level, and you could tell it was grinding on him. Right before he got sent down, he went through a 10-game stretch where he went hitless in 9 of them. One game he got 3 hits, including a home run, but that was a game that the Tigers scored like 14 runs. Like, Tork got to the point where not only was he an automatic out, but you felt really bad for him. So I'm glad that he's down in the minors. If it's embarrassing, it's embarrassing. What are you going to do? Of course it's embarrassing, but he cares. So he's got a chance to come back from this. And I'm glad that he's there figuring stuff out. And I gave you those minor league stats. They're pretty impressive. Whether you believe in them or not, that's up to you to decide. But Tork, before he got sent down, 54 games, 230 plate appearances. He was hitting 201 with a 597 OPS. His on base was 266. His slug was 330. He had 18 RBI, only 4 home runs, but he did have 15 doubles. At one point, remember, he was leading the American League in doubles. It was inevitable. It needed to happen. I'm glad that it happened. It would have been very difficult to watch if they kept him up at the big league level to continue to fail, not to mention. This way, I think he's got a chance to come back and live up to his potential. He did hit 31 homers last year. I don't need to tell you, you know. But if you kept him with the big club, I mean, he would have busted out rather quickly, I feel. But here, let's continue with the interview. There's more.
Hit 30 home runs in the big leagues. You know that you can produce up there. How much confidence is there still in yourself to believe that you can find all that again?
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence in myself as a player. I think I know I have what it takes to play up there. I know I have what it takes to stick up there. Now I think it's just getting a little better. Honestly, I can get a little better. I need to be more consistent, and I will. But yeah, and that's what right now it's for. Obviously, my swing hasn't felt very good, and I think when you go through tough times, especially in the big leagues, everything's under a microscope, so you can kind of start to question things and try to tweak things rather than taking a step back and being like, hold on, I know how to hit. What's worked for me my entire life, and just kind of getting back to that, and then maybe tweaking things along the way.
So we all do that, right? I play golf all the time. I do it in golf all the time. I know how to hit a golf shot, believe it or not. And listen, I'm not comparing myself to Tork. That dude's an athlete. I'm not. But I think the comparison works. I know how to hit a golf shot. But then I hit a ball in the pond, or I hit a ball in somebody's window and crack it. I get all pissed off, I swear, and I yell fucking shit constantly at the top of my lungs. And then the next swing I take is herky-jerky, and I don't have a chance to hit the golf ball at all, and I hit a worm burner, which of course makes me take my club and throw it into the water. That's actually happened to me many times. It's an infuriating sport. I would assume baseball is the exact same way. Like that comment at the end, I think is interesting. You get so caught up in the negativity, being under a microscope, that you forget that you've been doing this your entire life. And I think going back down to the minors, realizing it, eating a slice of humble pie, without a doubt that's going to help him. Hopefully he comes back up with new techniques how to deal with struggling, because everybody struggles. It's baseball. The best hitters in baseball fail 70% of the time. By the way, the one stat about Tork that was wild to me, he was hitting 201 with a 597 OPS. he was hitting 109 against fastballs that were 95 or more velocity-wise. I mean, that's insane. That was really bad. And I do think it's mental, and we're going to get to this question, but like, how many times did you see a center cut fastball that he should have attacked? Because his plan was always wait for the one pitch that you can dominate and drive and then do it. But he missed it. He didn't swing enough. He was indecisive. So yeah, I think going back down to the minors will help. Now, the question was, you hit 31 homers last year, so you know you can play. And that's true. Last year, 233 batting average, but he only had a 758 OPS. He did have 94 RBI. He did have those 31 homers. So we know he's got power. The question is it there enough of the time to make him a good major league hitter? I have no idea. But last year, the second half of last year was a revelation without a doubt. But you also say to yourself, okay, that OPS is 758. You need it at least to be in the 800s to maybe truly believe. I don't know. Just something that I focus on. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's continue with the interview.
Is it mechanical or is it mental, the thing that you need to focus on most, do you think?
I would describe it like it looks mechanical, but when you aren't sticking to a solid approach every single at bat, every single day, that will mess with the mechanic. So that's what I was saying about like just being consistent in my approach, my cage work, my at bats, and seeing things clean up mechanically.
All right, so it sounds like he was tinkering. We all tinker, no matter what your occupation is, even if things are going well. Hell, I just saw an interview with Scotty Scheffler, who dominates the PGA Tour. He says he still tinkers every time he plays at a golf tournament, with the major, of course, coming up this weekend. So, like, mechanical, it is mechanical. But the fact that it's so mechanical and he can't figure it out, without a doubt, it becomes mental. Here's more.
Sent down. How much work is there behind the scenes that people don't get to see, that you're trying to get this thing figured out, but it's at the big league level and everything is under the microscope, like you said?
There's a lot of work, a lot of cage time, a lot of conversation. It's a constant, and I care a lot, and that might fault me in the game of baseball at times. Like some of the best players I've ever seen almost look like they don't care, and so I really care, and I care so much that like I'll do anything to put myself in the best position to succeed at this game, and that's what I've been doing. It's not laying down feeling sorry for myself. It's I'm hard at work, and I'll do whatever it takes to figure this out.
So that line about caring a lot, first of all, I believe him. Without a doubt. I mean, you don't get to that point in your life without caring and being competitive. But I'm no hitting coach. Obviously. I do think I might be able to do a better job than the Tigers' 3 hitting coaches, though. But Tork so many times did not look athletic at the plate. If you go back and you watch his at-bats at Arizona State when he was mutilating the baseball, now he did have a, metal bat. So I felt bad for the fielders, especially at third base. But if you go back to those at-bats, he looked like a totally different hitter than he looked his most recent time in Detroit. He looked mechanical. He looked like stiff almost. Indecisive, not athletic, not looking to attack the baseball. And you do wonder, at the major league level, there's so much information. These guys are always looking at an iPad. You do wonder how much of that creeps into your mind, and you end up thinking about that stuff instead of just reacting. He said it right there. The best players he's seen in baseball look like they don't care. I think he's talking about just guys that are able to go up there and react. And all the preparation can get out of their head, and they can actually perform in the moment. With Tork, it looked like all that prep, all that information, maybe it was bogging him down. I got more for you.
Think about the journey to get to the big leagues. Does this allow you to take a step back and maybe appreciate just how tough this game is?
Yeah, it's a hard game. It's a hard game in AAA too. You're playing against really good players that have worked their entire lives as well to get to where they're at, and they want to succeed too. So it's a hard game, and I think you need to tell yourself that at times, because as a perfectionist, it's good to chase perfection, but when you're expecting perfection every single second, it can be hard.
All right, so if you want to go watch the entire interview, I thought it was fantastic. Jordan Strack, Spencer Torkelson, Toledo Mudhens Twitter page, go check it out. There are two questions I wish would have been asked. There was all the rumblings that had come from the Athletic article that after Tork got sent down, Tork was not willing to do what the Tigers wanted him to do. Do you remember that? It would have been interesting to see Tork's response to that question. And then the other question, and listen, I get it. This is the Toledo Mudhens, right? They're in the Tigers organization. They're an affiliate of the Tigers. So I doubt anybody's going to get too negative here. However, it would have been nice to ask Tork about the three batting coaches that never talked to the media. Tigers got three batting coaches, two, and then an assistant batting coach. And it does seem like nobody develops at the major league level ever with the Detroit Tigers. So I would have been fascinated to hear what Tork, if he's being honest, and he might not have been, considering, again, he's not looking to burn any bridges. He's looking to get back up to the big club. But it would have been fascinating to see and hear what Tork thought of the batting coaches and the approach they've taken to help him at the major league level, and if he believes it was enough. So maybe those are two questions that I wonder about. Other than that, fantastic interview. And I hope he makes it back up. Like, Tigers are 2.5 games out of a wild card spot at the recording of this podcast. We wonder what Scott Harris is going to do with the deadline. The Flaherty rumors are out there that he's going to trade him. But if they play well enough, if they get their act together, which I don't know will happen, but if they do, and you can add a fixed Tork and a fixed Meadows, those could be two trade deadline acquisitions themselves. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it is something to strive for. By all accounts, Tork's going to be down there for a bit. But August 1st rolls around, bring him up. If he continues to rake in the minors, maybe he's fixed. I don't know. You can hope. So, that's Spencer Torkelson. I thought it was a great interview. I thought it was really interesting stuff. Let's get to some comments, because we didn't do comments last time. And then we'll let you go enjoy your day. And we'll let you know about the Daily Ticket on Monday, if we're canceled or not. I think we'll know by Monday. I'm going to do a last episode regardless, so I want to say goodbye, just in case we're canceled. So on the Daily Ticket on Monday, I thought it was a great episode. And a lot of y'all watched it, so I do appreciate it. But it was the argument we got into about the Green Bay Packers. I filled in the morning show. And it was me and John Jansen and Tom Milliken and Heather Park and Greg Hargrave. And we were talking about how many games the Lions are going to win in 2024. John and Tom said 14. I said 10. And I got attacked. And I get it, man. People perceive me as being negative. So I played you the cut. It was like 4 minutes. I'm worried about the Packers. I am. I'm worried about Jordan Love. And I gave my reasons why. We went back and forth. It was all in good fun, I think. But here's some of the comments. A lot of people commented about me being full of shit, or maybe people agreeing with me. So let me just read some of these comments, because it's very nice that you guys leave them to begin with. This one is from @LipsCan'tAlone9144. Says, Love is absolutely better than Jared Goff. Pack win the division with 11 wins. Keep this podcast going. Awesome show. Thank you. I hope so. What do we got? What else? Jane Doe 83945. I don't think this team, with the fight they have showing, will only win 10. I also don't think they will for sure get to 14 either. I believe they'll go 12-5 again, win the North again. Hopefully we can find a new way to fight all the way back to the NFC Championship game and beyond. Fair enough. Wilson-JD9NQ. Wrong again, Rieger. So he disagrees with me. How about at Whiskey 61? Jordan Love is so much better than Jared Goff. The Packers have a great O-line depth, which will matter at some point. Josh Jacobs is going to be seeing lighter boxes than he's ever seen in his entire life. He probably has never seen a six-man box, and he will this year. He also is a great pass catcher and will be used by a smart coach for the first time ever. The wide receivers and tight ends are all going to push each other, and at least half will make a big jump. It goes on talking about the Packers, but obviously he's very bought into the Packers. Here's the thing. The Lions have some pretty good running backs too. In David Montgomery and, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs. At Jimmy Kryptonite says, let Rieger cook. That's what the kids say these days. Let him cook. They say that about Brad Holmes all the time. Let Brad Holmes cook. And then how about one more? At Ryan Guzik, 36-1. Need to keep the daily ticket. Thank you. Actually, I got a couple more. Just in case we do get canceled. I can't do this all the time. So let me read some more. You guys are nice enough to leave comments. I'll read some more. At Maddie Smiths. I think Rieger is stuck in SOL purgatory. He just doesn't know it. You might be right about that. I do still worry about the Packers, and that's very SOL behavior. And then somebody responded to him at Brad Pachota, 9293. I call those people same old Lions fans afraid of the curse. They'll say stuff like, I know this is totally different, but they're still the Lions. Hell-bent on ruining the joy you get out of watching a good team play. I'm not trying to ruin any joy. I'm just giving you my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they win 17 games, all right? At Hockeytown-SO Forever. Love the daily ticket. Hopefully it keeps going. At Keisha Smith, 7851. Love the show. Hope they keep it, especially football season. At Joey Baird, 7709. You grew on me. Very entertaining with valid points. Keeps people grounded. Keep it up with the big muscle emoji. And then at Colonel Straits, 1069 says, anyone who doesn't think the Packers are a threat is in serious denial. Not to mention all the unknowns that could derail the season. Yes, we should win the division, but that doesn't mean anything once the season starts. Whether corporate says yes or no, keep doing. Your audience will find you. That got 13 replies. Let me read a couple of these and then we'll call it a day. At Hype Detroit, of course Lions could regress, but there's reason to believe that's why a culture plus foundation were built. Expectation should be a return to the NFC title game for the next 4 seasons, and anything can happen from there. That's what the Niners have done since 2019, although it hasn't worked in their favor just yet. And then one more for you. This is from at Sean_Downey. Plants look good. Thank you, Sean. Sean always comments when I do the podcast from my home and my living room, how the plants behind me look. They do look healthy. So thank you. Here, I'll give you a little look there. There's some more. My wife does a good job with these. So, thank you. That means the world to me, Sean. All right, that's going to do it for the Daily Ticket, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog snoring underneath the table. She's getting a great nap as I yell and scream my head off. We'll let you know about the podcast, what happens with the podcast, but you guys are amazing for always interacting, always leaving messages, always commenting. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you on Monday on the Daily Ticket, and hopefully we have some kind of update on the future of the Daily Ticket. In the meantime, go enjoy your day, and I'm going to do the same, and you guys rock. Talk to you later. Bye.